Today we're looking at parallelograms once again. Okay, we saw these 4 conditions last week. Okay, so we're going to look at them again and then be more in depth with them a little bit. Okay, so what do we know so far about parallelograms?
All sides parallel? No, 2 sides have to be parallel.
Sides are parallel. Which sides? Across from each other. Opposite sides are parallel to each other. What else other than parallel to each other?
They have to be straight.
They have to be straight. Okay. What do you know about their measurements?
They can't cross.
They're the same. They can't cross. Yep. So they're parallel to each other and they are the same length. Okay. So we got the sides. What about the angles? What do we know about the angles?
All angles add up to 360.
All angles add up to 360. What else?
Opposite angles add up to
Not opposite.
The same side angles.
Yes.
The same line.
On the same line, they add up to 180. The ones across from each other are what?
360.
They're equal.
They're equal to each other. The angles across from each other are equal to each other. So looking at this one specifically, okay? The angles across from each other are congruent to each other. What do you know about angle A and angle D? What are they? They are different. What do they add up to? 180. Okay, remember one of them's obtuse, one of them's acute. Those give you 180 degrees together. Okay? If you know angle A, can you find all the rest of them?
Yeah.
Yes. If you know one of the angles in a parallelogram, you can find all the other ones. Okay? One that we haven't talked about a bunch is this one. Okay? Where it has diagonals drawn in from opposite corners. Okay, what happens is this intersection splits it in half. That one diagonal in half. So that diagonal has 2 equal parts. Okay, so again, opposite are the same. Opposite of the intersection are the same. Okay, so that one's a little new. And then that bottom one's just saying parallel sides are congruent to each other, which we already said. Any questions? What?
They all add up to 360.
Yes. Yep, parallelograms add up to 360 degrees.
No, like the line, like, go across.
Line measurements don't matter. The only thing that matters with 360 degrees is the angle measures. Good question. Okay, any questions with these conditions? Okay, get to know these pretty well, okay? Today it's going to ask you if this is a parallelogram or not by the given information.
Yeah.
Okay, looking at this, it gives us congruent sides, 2 pairs. Okay, for parallelograms, what sides have to be congruent to each other? Opposite. Are those opposite of each other? No. So this is a no. By just looking at that, can you tell that that's not a parallelogram? Yes. Okay. Questions with this one? Later on, we're going to learn that's called a kite. Okay, looking at this shape, looking at what it gives us, what does it give us?
Same.
It gives us angles. Okay, what do we know about angles of a parallelogram?
They all equal at 180.
They all equal 360.
360.
Okay, what'd you say?
I said the same.
You said the same thing? What else do we know?
The opposites are the same.
Opposites are the same. Let's check.
Yeah.
I'm going to check 40 up top. What's across from that 40?
40.
40. Okay, let's check the other one. I'm checking this one, 140. What's opposite?
140.
So is this a parallelogram?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Next one. What does this one give us?
Sides.
Gives us sides. What do we know about the sides of a parallelogram?
They're the same.
Which ones? Ones that are across from each other are the same. So which one's across from 4? 4. So that one checks. What about 5? 5. Is that a parallelogram? Yes. Okay, looking at 2. What does it give us? Angles. What do we know about angles of a parallelogram?
Opposites have to be the same.
They all add up to 360. Opposites have to be the same. So let's check L. What's opposite of L? J. Are those the same? No. That breaks it right away, right? So this is not a parallelogram. Also, by looking at that, can you tell that it's not?
Yeah.
Okay. How can you tell by just looking at it?
Because parallel.
Right. Looking at parallel sides. On 3, it tells us WXYZ is a quadrilateral and it gives us different lengths. So I'm going to draw what looks like a parallelogram. Then I'm going to label the corners W, X, Y, and Z. Now I'm going to fill in what it tells us. WX is what? 15. YZ is 20. XY 15. ZW 20. Now it gave us the sides. Why do you say no? Right. The same numbers are not across from each other. If I would have drawn this a different way, if I would have had the points in a different position, would this have worked?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so it all depends on how you draw it. In this case, this is not a parallelogram because the sides opposite from each other are not the same. Does everyone agree?
Yeah.
Good. Questions before I move on? All right, let's look at this one. We want to determine if it's a parallelogram, but first, what are we missing? We're missing angle H. How can we find angle H?
Add them all up minus 1. 360.
There you go. So we have 80 plus 60 plus 130. That gives you 270. What do we do with that 270?
Minus it from 360, which would be 90.
Yep, 360 minus 270 gives you 90. So that missing angle right here is 90 degrees. What do we know about angles of a parallelogram?
They all are equal to their opposite.
Yes, the opposite angles are equal. I'm going to go from 80. Which one's opposite of 80?
130.
130. Is that the same?
So you didn't have
No, so this has to be... No, you did not have to do that. I just wanted to review.
So with our math homework, are we just going to be doing yes, no, or
The
no?
front side, yes.
Okay.
Whole
Yep.
front side?
On 5, what does it give us?
2, 3 angles.
Gives us 3 angles. Let's find that fourth angle. How can we find the fourth angle?
Add it all together.
You can. Is there an easier way?
It'd be
It's
C minus
opposite.
A.
If 2 of them are the same things, I'll just have to use it.
Right. What do we notice? We notice 104 is congruent to its opposite of 104. That's a pretty good indicator of a parallelogram, right? So if this side's 74, what's this one?
76, you mean?
I did that last class too. 76.
It's okay, I'm dyslexic too.
Okay? So is that a parallelogram?
Yeah,
Yes. Again, why is it a parallelogram?
Yes.
they have the same sides.
Opposite angles are the same. Yep.
Miss G, do you have a problem with big words?
Looking at this last one. Okay, we haven't looked at this a lot. What do we know about diagonals in a parallelogram?
They're just
Split
saying.
in the middle.
Split in the middle. Remember, opposite sides from this intersection, when you jump over, those need to be the same. Are they?
Yes.
Yes. If you're jumping over the intersection, its opposite sides are the same. So is this a parallelogram?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, last one here, looking at number 7.
No, it doesn't
Let's
work.
look at our intersection at X. At 5, this 5. I jump over, is it the same? No. So is this a parallelogram? No.
No, it's not. Miss G.
Questions about determining whether it's a parallelogram or not?
No.
Tomorrow we're going to get into special kinds of parallelograms, like
Mom,
rectangles and squares and rhombuses. We're going to get into those, okay?